Hello everyone, thanks for coming to the ASUS ROG forums. My name is JJ, I'm the Technical Marketing Specialist for ASUS, and today I'm going to be giving you a little performance kind of preview of our brand new EN GTX580. So this is the box right here. This is the brand new flagship from NVIDIA in terms of the actual card, and we're going to go ahead and be running it with Aliens vs. Predator. I'm going to take a look at the performance potential that it offers. Here we've got our Rampage III Formula. This is the board that's going to go ahead and be running the 580. So we're going to go ahead and start this performance numbers and let you see what you're going to have. So right now, we've got the system configured. Rampage 3 Formula, 980X overclocked to 4.2 gigahertz, 6 gigabytes of triple channel memory running at 1600 Cas6, and then one ASUS GTX580. And we've got that all running right now, real time. It's going to go ahead and run through the loop, and we're going to see what the FPS is at the end of the run. Now, one of the key elements of this card, of course, is that it has a very specialized engine that offers advanced performance when it comes to anti-aliasing and tessellation. So this is really allowing you to get the highest level of visual fidelity when it comes to gameplay, regardless of whatever DirectX 11 title that you're looking at. We've picked specifically this title because it shows this quite well. And so we're going to see that reflected at the end here at the score. We'll see what it looks like. Alright, we've completed our first run, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at our score. And we can go ahead and see here that a resolution of 1920 by 1200, along with tessellation enabled and multi-sampling in terms of the AA, we've produced an average frame rate of 63.9. So quite impressive in terms of overall gameplay. Keep in mind that really for the smoothest level of performance, we want to maintain an average of 60 frames a second. So this card's already pushing past 60 frames a second, but we're going to go ahead and kick it up a notch, and we're going to go ahead and throw the system in SLI and see what two GTX 580s offers us. Alright, system's confirmed that we now have two-way SLI enabled, so we're going to go ahead and see what type of performance potential this configuration offers. Alright, we've gone ahead and started our rerun of Alien vs. Predator 2 in our two-way configuration. One of the real big advantages of the new architecture that's offered by NVIDIA, this Fermi architecture, is the considerably impressive scaling. For the first time ever, you're really offering 80, 90, 100% scaling, so you're really increasing the frame rate potential when you're adding a secondary card. Now, one of the big benefits that you also get is you have 3D vision, which, when working with two cards, we're going to hopefully be at an excess of 100 frames, maybe 110, maybe even 120 frames. With that type of FPS, we're going to be able to enable 3D vision on a 3D enabled monitor and get an amazing immersive gameplay experience. So it's something that once you match up two of these cards is really going to allow you to get to the next level of gameplay. Okay, we've gone ahead and completed our secondary run of Aliens vs. Predator with two GTX 580s and SLI on our Rampage 3 Formula. So let's go ahead and take a look at the scores. Alright, so we can see here we've gone up to essentially 100% scaling, more or less. We now have an average of 120 frames. So let's go ahead and just do a quick comparison here. One single card, an average frame rate of essentially 63 frames, and then with two cards, an average frame rate of 120 frames. So really, you're talking about considerably impressive scaling. It's just a monster performance. But we're going to go ahead and kick it up another notch. Since our board offers three-way SLI, we're going to go ahead and add on a third GTX 580 and see what type of performance increase we're going to get. Alright, we've got our three GTX 580s on our board. One of the quick notes that we really like about the Rampage 3 Formula design as well is, as you can see, the way that we've actually spaced out the board, there's no overhang. So even actually when you're running a full three-way configuration, the actual bottom card doesn't overhang on the board, requiring you to actually have a chassis that has that quote-unquote eighth slot. So it's giving you a lot of flexibility to be able to utilize a number of different chassis without having to jump to usually a higher price chassis. let's go ahead and take a look and see what three-way SLI is going to offer us in terms of performance. Alright, we've gone ahead and booted to our desktop. We've got our three-way configuration here. We're going to go ahead and enable three-way SLI. Okay, we've gone ahead and enabled our three-way SLI configuration. So we're going to go ahead and take a look and see what type of performance we now have available. Now, as I previously noted, when we had a two-way configuration and we were talking about 3D vision, stepping up to a three-way configuration even allows for even more immersive. You could actually go with a three-panel 3D vision configuration, now offering sufficient horsepower by having three GTX580s, being able to render a 3D image across three monitors. So that would take it to a whole nother level of immersive detail. And definitely because of the scaling architecture that we've seen, going from one card to two cards, let's see how it scales once we get to the third card here. Okay, we've gone ahead and completed our third run here with three-way SLI enabled, so let's go ahead and take a look at the performance. We can see another huge jump. We've gone to essentially, so 170 frames is our average, 169.5 specifically. Let's go ahead and we'll do a quick comparison. And so we can see our two-way configuration offered us 120 frames, and our three-way configuration is essentially offering us 170 frames. So essentially almost a 50 FPS increase. So another monster increase. So being that our board offers three-way, that's essentially our cap. But I think this time, you know what? We're going to get a little crazy. We're going to go 4 cards. But seeing as we ran out of PCIe slots, I think we're going to have to bring the expander into play. So we're going to go ahead and throw on our ROG expander, which as you see actually offers us 4 by 16 PCIe slots. We're going to go ahead and throw this onto our Rampage III Formula, throw on another GTX 580, and see what type of performance we're going to get. Now, part of the reason why the actual ROG expander is required is, as per NVIDIA's requirement for 4-way SLI, you do actually have to have 2 NF200 bridge chips. So that's actually these little heat sinks right here. There's actually 2 NF200 chips. That's what's allowing us to actually enable the 4-way SLI functionality. Alright, got 4 GTX 580s. Alright, as the last piece of the puzzle here, we've got our 4-way SLI bridge. I'm going to go ahead and get this on our 4 GTX 580s. Let's make some magic happen. Alright, so we've got our 4-way configuration. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 GTX 580s set up on our Rampage III Formula, running on our ROG expander, which is enabling our 4-way SLI functionality. We're going to go ahead and run Alien vs. Predator again. We're going to see if we can't break 200 frames a second in this gameplay. Okay, we're finishing up here our 4-way SLI enabled run of Aliens vs. Predator. We're going to go ahead and check and see what type of performance we have. So for reference, we're going to go ahead and check our 3-way enabled run. So we can see our 3-way enabled run was 169.5 frames, so essentially 170 frames. Let's go ahead and take a look at our 4-way enabled run. And we have 208 frames. So we smashed 200 frames. So as we can see, just the overall scaling that's offered in this Fermi architecture, especially with this GTX 580, is just insane. So we're just looking at monster numbers here, powered by our formula board with the expander, just unprecedented level of performance.